How to analyse unseen poetry for Cambridge A-level English literature. Did you know that over 65% of Cambridge A-level English literature students lose marks on unseen poetry? It's the most feared part of the exam, and for good reason. You're handed a poem you've never seen before and asked to dissect it in minutes. But here's the secret examiners won't tell you. Unseen poetry is formulaic. With the right strategy, you can turn it into your highest scoring section. In this video, I'll break down my proven 3-step method, walk you through 2 real poem analyses, and show you exactly how to avoid the traps that cost students marks. Let's dive in. Most students panic when they see an unseen poem. They either freeze, overanalyzing every comma and metaphor until they run out of time, or they write vague, generic comments like the writer uses imagery to create a vivid picture, which examiners call empty analysis and rarely reward. Why does this happen? 1. Lack of structure. Students don't know where to start, so they jump into techniques without understanding the poem's core message. 2. Feature spotting. They list similes, metaphors, and alliteration, but fail to explain how these techniques shape meaning. 3. Ignoring the mark scheme. Examiners want specificity and contextualised effects, not broad statements. Sound familiar? Don't worry, I've got you covered. Let's fix this with a method that saved hundreds of students from disaster. As my 3-step method to analyse any unseen poem straight from the Cambridge mark scheme. Step 1. Identify tone and theme tone. Ask, what's the mood? Is it melancholic, nostalgic, angry, or hopeful? Use precise adjectives. Theme. Ask, what's the big idea? Love, loss, identity, societal conflict. Connect it to the poet's purpose. Step 2. Hunt for key techniques. Focus on 3 pillars of A-level analysis: imagery, similes, metaphors, symbolism, e.g., a storm symbolising turmoil; structure, rhyme scheme, enjambment, caesura, shifts in perspective; language, word choice diction; connotations, repetition. Step 3. Explain the effect. This is where most students fail. For every technique, ask, how does this shape the reader's understanding of the theme? What emotions or ideas does it evoke? Why did the poet choose this technique specifically? Pro tip: use the phrase "this creates" to force specificity. Instead of "the metaphor makes the reader think," say "the metaphor creates a sense of claustrophobia," mirroring the speaker's trapped emotional state. Stick to this framework, and you'll never feel lost with an unseen poem again. Example 1. Robert Frost's The Road Not Taken, 3-6. Let's apply this to a real poem. Here's the full first stanza of The Road Not Taken. 2 roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both, and be one traveller, long I stood, and looked down one as far as I could, to where it bent in the undergrowth. Step 1. Tone and theme tone. Reflective, regretful, contemplative. The speaker is weighing a life-altering decision. Theme. Choices and their irreversible consequences. Step 2. Key techniques. Imagery. Yellow wood. Autumn symbolises transition and decay, hinting at the speaker's later regret. Undergrowth. The obscured path represents uncertainty about the future. Structure. Regular iambic tetrameter, 4 beats per line, mimics the steady, methodical process of decision-making. Caesura, in Long I Stood, creates a pause, mirroring the speaker's hesitation. Language. Sorry. Conveys immediate regret even before the choice is made. Looked down as far as I could. The physical act of looking mirrors the mental effort to foresee consequences. Step 3. Effect. Frost uses the extended metaphor of the diverging roads to explore the human tendency to romanticise choices. The autumnal setting isn't just decorative, it underscores the poem's central irony. The speaker believes his choice is unique, less travelled, but the roads are really about the same. The structure's rhythm lulls the reader into a false sense of certainty, while the imagery of the obscured path reminds us that no choice is fully knowable. Why this works? Instead of saying Frost uses a metaphor, we've tied every technique to the theme of illusion versus reality in decision-making, exactly what examiners want. Common pitfalls to avoid. Before we analyse a second poem, let's tackle 3 mistakes that cost students marks. Paraphrasing the poem. Don't summarise the plot. Analyse how the poet crafts meaning. Don't say, the speaker is choosing between 2 roads. Instead, say, the roads symbolise life choices, with the undergrowth reflecting the unknowable outcomes of decisions. Overcomplicating structure. You don't need to label every enjambment or rhyme scheme. Focus on structural choices that impact the reader's experience. Example: the lack of stanza breaks mirrors the speaker's stream of consciousness, creating urgency. Generic effects. Avoid phrases like makes the reader think or creates imagery. Be specific. Don't say, the simile helps the reader visualise the setting. Instead say, the simile, like a chime of fairy bells, juxtaposes delicacy with Brightly's harsh reality, emphasising his longing for escape. Pro tip: use past papers to practice. The more you apply this method, the faster you'll spot patterns. Example 2. Seamus Heaney's Follower. Let's test this method with a tougher poem, Follower by Seamus Heaney. Here's an excerpt. His shoulders globed like a full sail strung between the shafts and the furrow. The horse strained at his clicking tongue. An expert. He would set the wing and fit the bright steel-pointed sock. The sod rolled over without breaking. Of all, I was a nuisance, tripping, falling, yapping always. But today, it is my father who keeps stumbling behind me, and will not go away. Step 1. Tone and theme. Tone, nostalgic, stanza 1. Then guilt-ridden and melancholic, stanza 2. Theme, the reversal of parent-child roles over time, the burden of aging. Step 2. Key techniques, imagery. Shoulders globed like a full sail, a simile comparing the father to a ship, symbolising strength and control. Bright steel-pointed sock, the plough's blade is described with industrial precision, contrasting with the speaker's clumsiness, tripping, falling. Structure, shift from past to present tense in but today it is my father, marks the emotional turning point. Enjambment in, without breaking, mirrors the seamless, skilled labour of the father. Language, nuisance, harsh self-criticism from the adult speaker. Stumbling versus expert, juxtaposition highlights role reversal. Step 3. Effect. Heaney uses contrasting imagery to explore the passage of time. The father's idealised strength, full sail, in the first stanza is dismantled in the second, where the speaker's guilt, nuisance, transforms into a burden, will not go away. The structural shift from past to present forces the reader to experience the speaker's emotional whiplash, while the nautical imagery subtly implies that the father's ship of vitality has sailed. Why this works? We've connected every technique to the poem's exploration of aging and regret. No vague statements in sight. Next time you're faced with an unseen poem, remember tone, techniques, and effect. If you found this helpful, hit that like button. It tells YouTube to share this video with more students like you. Want my top examiner secret? The best answers don't just analyse the poem, they analyse the poet's choices. Always ask, why this technique? Why this word? Subscribe and let me know in the comments. Which poem do you find toughest to analyse? I'll make a video breaking it down. Let's ace this exam together.